engine swapping any kind of car, like in my case, an LS1 and an E36, or an S50 inline 6 turbo swap and an E30. There are a couple things that you need to do before you put that engine in, and the only time you can do it is now. One of those things you want to do, repaint the bay. There's only one time you can repaint the bay, and that's before you put your engine in. And before you repaint the bay, you're probably going to want to shave it and tuck it at least a little bit. And lastly, you're going to want to do all the reinforcements that you can to the car beforehand. In the case of my E30, that's going to involve some modifications and reinforcements to the front subframe. That's going to be to handle additional power, maybe even 4-figure power. That being said, guys, you can get this sweatshirt as well as a matching t-shirt on my website, boostedapexdesigns.com. Really happy with how they turned out. Super comfy. This is actually my car, if you can't tell. A guy on Instagram drew my car for me and into this format. If you want to check out his Instagram, it's SDA Digital Arts. His name is Sabindus. I don't know if I said that right. But check him out. He does really good work. He's also been doing logo stuff for me. The logo here on the sleeve. But anyway, no more merch plugs. I'm probably going to take this off because it's brand new and I don't want to get it dirty. Now, let's get to cutting, grinding, and welding on the E30. Last time you guys saw the E30, we were getting the engine bay ready for the swap and for paint. So removed a bunch of stuff, kind of cleaned it up a little bit, made some good progress there. Engine is still torn down, haven't made any progress on that because I've been working on the E36 a lot, but today, back to the E30. Need to do some more tearing down on the front end to prepare for paint. Actually pretty much have to remove it all. So I'm gonna start with that. So I can finally take these horrendous fog lights off. solid progress on this thing so far. Now I need to strip it down and get the subframe by itself because I have some reinforcements to weld on. Pretty much everything else here is probably going to be trashed. I pulled that whole wiring harness out, and the reason was to get that out of the way, but also I'm going to wire tech it like I did the E36. I'm not going to move the fuse box. Literally going to take the wiring harness and route it in probably that hole back there, and it's just going to run in the fender and then pop out down here. Exactly how I did it in the E36 because I was super happy with how that turned out. So I figured might as well do the same thing here. A couple little fuel lines to get out of the way, those plastic shields. Next up, going to clean up the subframe and add in the reinforcements. I got a whole kit. I got a whole bunch of stuff. I honestly don't really remember what everything's for. Yeah, got a good bit of welding to do, which will be fun, and I could use the practice. Now it's time to start getting rid of all the bracketry in the engine bay that I'm not going to use anymore. So that includes all of this stuff here, maybe a couple brackets down there, that. Those are good. Those are for the hood. Alright, made good progress with getting the engine bay shaved. Get rid of all the bracketry that I don't need, fill in the holes that need filled in. Now since I've got all the bracketry and everything off that I believe I need off, we need to fill in the holes with weld. So first I need to grind off behind there because there's the factory undercoating everything. Don't want that to catch fire because it will catch fire when you're welding. Make sure the front side's all good to go, hook up the welder, and fill in these holes. Now to do this and be able to see in there, I'm going to use a new product that I got. An Odelphi headlamp. They sent me one of these, really nice and bright, so I'm going to be able to see in this fender well and grind everything I need to grind with ease. It's a little smoky. Alright, now all the grinding's done, should be time to break out the welder and try to fill in these holes. I did get a new tool that should help. So I got this, it's basically magnetized and then has copper spring-loaded base. And now it's nice and smoky in here, good opportunity to clean up the front subframe because it is covered in grease. So might as well open up the garage door, try to rinse and degrease that thing as much as possible. While not perfect, that is certainly way better. I could get it cleaner if my pressure washer wasn't broken and if it wasn't, 30 degrees out. It's pretty good. I just didn't want to work with something that's covered in grease and oil, and obviously that's not ideal for welding either. So what I need to weld on is front subframe reinforcements. And these are for the sway bars. So I got to clean this up. I got to grind all the paint off, and then we'll work on positioning these and getting them welded in. And then I'll get the welder out, weld that, and then we'll start filling in all these holes. Making the switch to Milwaukee tools, that was the ticket. This right angle grinder, I already got my money's worth out of it after one day. Gonna be getting more Milwaukee stuff here shortly. All right, with all that grinding and dirty work, it's time for the fun stuff. Time to start welding. Now for simplicity's sake, I'm gonna use the MIG and not try to TIG, because this is not something that I want to have failed because I don't have enough practice. So just gonna be a simple MIG job on all this. Should be pretty easy and fun. Now the only 220 I have is for the dryer in the laundry room, and I think the woman has laundry going, so. Yeah, dryers, yeah. Laundry's done.
Did you unplug this dryer?
Well, I have to weld.
My clothes are in there.
They'll dry.
They're not even done yet.
They'll dry, just put them outside.
Oh my god, you're annoying.
It'll dry, I swear. Don't worry, it'll only take a minute. I'm in trouble. Not the best welds, but pretty decent at least. They'll hold. Quick brush to this one, turned out pretty good. So yeah, I'm just gonna take a grinder and just clean those up just a little bit because I do want it to look nice when I get it powder coated. Before I get to grinding on that, because I'm gonna have to grind in here too, I'm gonna start filling in these holes, or at least attempting to. It was definitely a pain on the E36, so not really looking forward to this. Alright, all the holes are filled. Might be a few pinholes because I'm not a perfect welder, especially with this thin sheet metal and a Harbor Freight MIG welder. They don't exactly mix. So I'm going to do just like I did in the E36. I'm going to do a skim coat of fiberglass over top, probably underneath too, just to make sure it's completely sealed. And other than that, this thing's about ready for a good degrease and sanding, and it's ready for primer and paint. So after getting the fiberglass applied, it was time to start working on the dreaded BMW seam sealer, which no matter which way you do it, it's a freaking pain to get off. Took forever in the E36, and I was dreading doing this. Tried a couple different ways, tried heating it up and then using a scraper. I got a good bit of it off. The BMW put it on so thick on the E30s. The strut towers are just completely covered in it. After enough trial and tribulations with scraping it and heating it and using the grinder, I got a lot of it off. Still have a lot more to go though. So quick cleanup in the garage because there's just grinding and welding dust and everything just scattered everywhere. And it was a mess. It's hard for me to work when there's a mess and stuff's all in the way. And then it's time to work on the battery tray and figure out what I'm going to do. What I found online is guys are having clearance issues with top mount turbos and downpipes, so I figured, hey, I might as well just cut it out now, at least part of it. Try to get it to look pretty clean before paint and make sure I have plenty of room for a big downpipe off the turbo. And then I figured since I have the grinder out, I might as well try and knock down some of this fiberglass that I put over the welded holes, just get it a little more flush, and then I'll hand sand it and then eventually apply a coat of Bondo. So that was a lot of work, guys. Got a lot of work done, though. A lot of stuff that's a freaking pain. That seam sealer is just like the bane of this car's existence. I hate that. I hated it on the E36, and I hate it on here. It's a pain to get rid of. Making solid progress. I got to get the car out. I got to pressure wash this anyway because it is disgusting. I got to get all the crap out of there. Got to put a final layer of Bondo on those spots that I filled in. Sand it all, prime it all, do the seam sealer, and then we're about ready to color match it. Lots and lots and lots of work, but definitely worth it in the end. So if you're going to engine swap something, I highly suggest you take the time to do this. Otherwise, you'll probably regret it later when you're looking at your nice new engine inside and the bay looks like crap. So if you guys want to check out the last video on this car and all the progress we made before this one, click here. And if you want to see all the work I did to the LS1 swapped E36 condensed into 10 minutes, click here. Other than that, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.